you doing, Mike AM? It's a good day for a podcast. He said, yeah, let's do it. I said, fuck yeah, okay, let's do it. And that's how it happened, and it's happening now.
Nice. I figured out a technique.
What, sitting on the pillow?
That too. Yeah, it gets me a little bit higher up to talking to the microphone. This is all going in. This is good content. This is what the people tune in for. Feng Shui is all wrong. We're like facing opposite directions like weirdos.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, if you're like straight and then I'm facing you on like a backwards diagonal. Imagine if cars were like that, like the passenger seat was like I'm facing you driving, like just watching you the whole time. That would be terrible.
Have you seen those old futuristic looking cars where like the front seat swivels?
Yeah, because then you could kind of have like a 3-person hangout in the back, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. They should bring that back. Why did they stop doing that? Because of car crashes?
I think it's just very not cash money for the driver who is also the person paying for the car. You're just like, you're gonna turn back there and not hang out with me.
Yeah, but I mean, like being like having like done a decent amount of like designated driving, a lot of D's. I've done a decent amount of designated driving in my life, and
definitely,
and like getting people from like point A to point B is like kind of like you like doing it. That's why you're offering to drive people, right? So it's like if I had like one of those cars with like the swivel seat, I wouldn't be mad that my friends are like hanging out because they're all like drinking road beers anyways. I can't do that, you know. I mean, I could do that, but not do it. You're not.
Yeah, don't.
I would never do it. I would never do it.
The Michael AM radio show has been brought to you by Not Drinking and Driving.
Yeah.
If you like to drink, don't drive after you do it, unless it's water. The Michael AM radio show has been brought to you by water.
Do drink it.
Do drink water.
Do drink water. Yeah, definitely don't drink while driving. It's okay to have like
even water, really.
Maybe,
that's kind of
yeah. Even honestly, any level of distracted driving, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't.
But yeah, I get what you're saying because like the swiveled seats and now like the overall vibe in the car has elevated to the point that even though you're sort of missing out on it, like it's like
well, because you're never going to be doing anything more than turning your head like as if you were checking your blind spot on your right. And then like tossing out a comment and then continuing to fucking watch the road, which is like the main prerogative of driving, of being the driver. So like you're just going to be doing this anyways, like just turning your head. So whether there's a swivel seat or not, that's the best you can do while you're driving. That's the curse of the driver, I guess. But in my opinion, driving. There's a certain responsibility that comes with driving people, and you like to do it. I've always, you know what I mean, like especially like in high school and like just out of high school, like all my friends were like drinking and stuff like that, and I never really did for like the longest time. Yeah. So like I was just always like the dude who drove to shows. So, but I like doing that, and I like driving. So.
I did that a lot as well, but I started like just not.
Not driving?
Not driving people.
Oh, you just you don't like driving people around? Does it annoy you?
You know what? It has to be the right person. I feel like it came to the point where it was just expected of me from like everyone who didn't drive at the time
or who wanted to party or something.
There was just not enough acknowledgement to the fact that I was like providing this service.
Yeah, it became commonplace. It would be like there wouldn't even be a discussion of who's driving. It would just be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going to this thing next Saturday. And then it's just like,
What do you mean you have your mom's birthday to go to? You were supposed to drive us to the rave.
didn't you know that you were supposed to drive us? Didn't
You
you know
just ruined our whole weekend.
Didn't you know that the value of your friendship is dependent upon you driving us from point A to point B at a moment's notice, and you don't even you don't really get a say. It's great that it's
Uber
great
before Uber, but it's just one guy.
yeah, it's great for you that you get to hang out with us. So just drive us. Yeah, that is dick.
You should be paying us gas money.
Yeah, yeah, it's a privilege for you. We're enhancing your car. Now get a swivel seat in here.
Do we want to do the where have we been? Does that sound like fun to anyone? Is it long enough that it is no longer? We wait till wait till a topic is no longer radioactive, and then we're not trying to get clicks here. We just disappeared because literally, I mean, a lot of the time we couldn't.
Yeah, like on paper we couldn't.
Yeah, we couldn't get together. But all right, so let's do this. Pandemic recap for Mike and Eric.
Based on the assumption that it's done.
Midway point,
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Who knows?
Well, COVID-19, monkeypox is swooping in.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool that that's happening.
That's very cool that
nice.
that's happening.
That's awesome. Welcome.
Don't worry, it is the wildfires are far, far worse.
Yeah. So, like I was saying to you, I don't really. I kind of feel like I've gone through like a mental wormhole the last 2 years. I've also been doing like a significant amount of drinking, which is not good.
Okay, so do you mean like, is it like partially you trauma blocked all of the isolation and shit, or more so you pre-blocked it? This is like kind of like recording.
Yeah.
Did you turn the volume down on the input, or did you turn the volume down on the output?
Or did I do drinking pre-production so that once it actually launched? No. No, I for like the first 6 months, like it all kind of really started ramping up in March 2020, right? I think from March till like July. Well, no, because
let's go to before that a little bit.
Okay.
Did you? I specifically avoided watching the news in like, I think people who are like chronic news watchers, it was on their radar in like December, January.
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I remember like even like late November, I think of 2019. I remembered this girl at work getting like really stressed out about it, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like what are you so stressed out about? It's just like people are getting. I don't know. I thought it was like maybe like SARS or something.
Yeah, right.
Which it is kind of. I mean, SARS is in like the medical thing or whatever.
See, I didn't watch anything about it. I totally blocked. I like retroactively. I remember people talking about it, but same as you, just like, oh yeah, fucking like we'll put out the hand sanitizer for a couple of days or whatever. Like we've lived through like 5 of these.
Yeah, right.
Swine flu,
right?
SARS,
all that stuff. Yeah, it was just like okay,
H1N1.
This is gonna pass, and then it like wasn't. Well, I'm jumping ahead, but
I literally So in March, I've been calling it that long March break for
yeah,
for a while because I remember one of my guitar students who's like pretty anxious kid was like, "Is the whole world gonna?" He was like, distraught about this, and And I reassured him, like, kind of ridiculously cockily in retrospect, but I had so much to go off of. I'm like, dude, you're young, but you don't remember we've had so many, like, end of the world threats. We lived through Y2K. Do you know what Y2K is? No. Explained Y2K to him, and he's like, you thought the world was going to end because the computers were going to say zero? It's like, I don't know. That's what the programmers thought at the time. They thought everyone would riot because the Visa debt would go to zero or some shit. They're like, I don't know. We were all scared. My grandma bought a bunch of bottled water.
The elites thought for a second that we wouldn't owe them anything, and it really scared them. It really freaked them out.
It's the thin veneer. It's not even real. Yeah.
But
the 2012 Mayan calendar, because the Mayan calendar ended.
The Mayan calendar.
Right? We don't even remember all of the global catastrophic scares.
Yeah, but I can't say that life has gotten like significantly better since 2012. So like maybe it's just been like in like a really slow crash.
I mean, it's
ever
pretty
since.
fast on the grand scheme of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like if they had like 3,000 years of calendar,
Yeah.
and we've gone from 2012 to this,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in a rapid decline right now. That's true. Okay. Yeah. So this is the we tried to do like a digital version of this where Mike and I hopped on Discord and like tried to do like some like Pandy episodes. But Mike ultimately decided that it was kind of like just really dark because we were so like deep into like the pandemic waves and stuff like that. And we were both just like being like kind of like negative, like understandably,
Yeah.
but it was very like a reflection of like how not how everybody was feeling, because I would never say that I know how everybody was feeling, but like general like isolation, vibe. But on the flip side, we're being so much more positive this time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows?
You know what? That one was. We were joking through that one too. But maybe we'll post that. I know it's there. There's some laughs. Some.
At this point, it would be an interesting time capsule because like everything that we would be talking about, like if you put it out, everything that we would be talking about is like no longer relevant.
But it's so different to like the global experience. I mean, every experience is so different, but like it's so much of it is like Ontario specific and that was one of the things that was kind of wild. And like I get it. Like people. I mean, you can argue that people were doing their best to, save people in the way that they did, but we were just like looking at these rules that just our provincial government was making for us, and none of the rules, none of the other places in the world are being this strict.
Yeah,
and just like stuff that didn't even line up.
Yeah.
with like what we're being told that we know about it,
and the longer it went, the more it felt nonsensical. Like in terms of just like there's no like consistent like thread through it all. It all just kind of like would like release tension all of a sudden, and then it would like kind of come back, but certain things would be lifted off. But it always had that vibe of like opening and closing. But it was like every time it would open, some certain things were cool now or not cool. Like And it was, I don't know, very, very, very strange.
And then we were getting like roasted and by like American comedians and stuff like that, like Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, because they're trying to come here and do something, and like it's just like literally impossible. Like I'm sure some of them were willing to like, take a bit of a hit just to like perform, and then they literally couldn't even get across the border. So yeah, that's wild. But I remember that girl getting really stressed out at work, and I was kind of like, I and everybody else at like the lunch table that we were at, like when, like I remember it very specifically, like the people that I was with, colleagues and stuff or coworkers, and she was very stressed out. Everybody, the general consensus was like, "Yo, you're being so over the top about it," and like she couldn't have been more right, really, which is so fucked.
We're going to have to isolate in pods of 5 or less people. We're going to have to wear masks everywhere we go. And you're like, you sound ridiculous right now.
Yeah, what is this, Terminator? It's not going to happen. Cue the machines taking over.
I'll see you in 14 days.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't really remember much of January, although I do remember that like it was picking up. I remember because like I was selfishly still really wanting to go on my Japan trip, which I ended up doing.
Nice.
Selfishly meaning I was like that Yokohama or whatever cruise ship was like off the coast of Yokohama or whatever, and was like just there's people just like trapped on that ship because they wouldn't let them come back on mainland because it just like started like the longer that they were on the ship, it obviously just like spread everywhere on there as it does. And I think within like the last couple weeks of January, like they were stuck out there for like 2 weeks, and then like I was like, well, I'm putting blinders on because I want to go. So fuck. But yeah, that's all I really remember about January was just being like, I really, really hope that, again, selfishly, it
so
doesn't
because
shut
of the
down.
trip, you were kind of like watching the news to see what they were saying about
I wasn't
because
yeah,
in like
yeah.
like mid-February, I couldn't have told you any like tell me about COVID-19, Michael, and I'm like, someone mentioned it.
Somebody sneezed on somebody else, I think.
Like I wouldn't have been able to tell you a single thing. It's like I think that's like a flu in the news. That's, and then March, and then after like, I think when they said that like they weren't going to bring people like back into school after the March break, that's where I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch the news a bit after this. I know in that initial like 14 days, I think every 8% of everyone started just like watching their phone for just like doom like refreshing for some sort of updates on what's going on.
Yeah. I went on my trip, and that was in mid-February. Got back by the end of February. I had to take two weeks off as like company policy to do like the 14-day thing, which is what we kind of are still doing now. Unless you have all your vaccinations, then it's like 7 days or 5 days now. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so I was doing like a quarantine because I had come back from like the whatever they call it, APAC region or whatever, APAC region. When I got back to I went back to the office for like 2 days or like a day, and then the next Monday was gonna be like our test work from home day, just to like see if we could. And then that Friday, I remember like my boss just like looking at us like in the eyes and be like, yeah, pack up anything that you like don't want here anymore, because I don't think that we're coming back for a while. And we were just like, what? And he's like, yeah. And so I don't know what they were hearing like from a higher level, like, but they were definitely downplaying it to like the like employees.
Really?
It took like literally probably, unless people are like unless I'm really bad,
or like
unless I'm like really bad at reading between the lines, like it was like, okay, we're just gonna do like a test day off on the Monday, and then we'll come back on Tuesday, and then, you know, if we ever have to move to a work from home model, we'll do that. But like there was no indication of like, this is it, this is the last Friday that we're doing like consistently here. And
it was like you've been,
yeah, I mean, we're back at the office now, but I'm only doing like one burping into the mic. But I'm only doing like one day maybe a week, and one of like the silver linings is that it kind of like has like very much shifted like my like working model, like how my job functions, is like, I guess 2 years under a microscope is enough to be like, okay, they can, the ship isn't going to burn down or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that I remember that there's like very just the way he said it. I was like, oh shit, this is really this is very serious. And then Hotfix played a show that Friday or Saturday, and my whole vibe was like, yo, fuck this, fuck this, disease or whatever it is.
Did people show up to that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually a really good show. I think it was our last. That was the last Hotfix gig too, I think. I took like the smallest amount of mushrooms, and I just had when I was setting up my drums, I felt really sick, like really like I felt like I was like, oh, I fucked up. This is gonna be terrible. I was at Flamingo too, so it just put me in kind of like a negative state to be feeling sick and then being surrounded by the Flamingo. I was like, oh, this is bad. I made a big mistake. Because on Hess, like anybody can come in the door, so it might be really good, might be really bad. So, but after I was done setting up and we were like finally ready to play, you get to that other point of the mushrooms where you're like start feeling good.
Yeah.
And then the best fucking set I've
You've
had.
digested them.
Yeah, like got past like the gut rot phase, and then I was like
feeling the love
so
from your
good.
homies in the audience.
Yeah, and just like feeling like really fluid when I was playing, like very very on top of the beat, or like almost like ahead of it in my mind, so I could be like very dialed in reality or whatever. If that makes sense. But that was mid-March.
So that's mid-March.
And then the Monday is when the world decided that we got to take this really seriously, I guess. Or like that's when like the press release came out.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of my guitar lessons, like we were told, probably on like the Thursday of that week off, we're just going to be doing online lessons at least for the next week, right? Because that was that 14 days, and I was like, oh man, I want to make sure this runs smoothly. I put the word out, and offered some free music lessons to a few people, just to like test out the whole online system. Went smoothly, and then like the first week went well. It was kind of like a novelty, and then it's like, we're not coming back.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, all right, well, this is a good thing I put all this effort into setting this up. Now I have a good, a good system here. The sound's coming out nice.
Doing the music lessons like digitally, or like what do they call it? Digitally, I guess. Whatever. What was the setup like for that? Like, what did you need, like tech wise?
Basically, use this. I used like the podcast setup and just routed it through Zoom.
So like on Zoom, it's like just select the audio device, and then it was just that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I was still using the old setup where I was running the mixer into the interface. The mixer is an interface, but it's like once you get it set up, there's a lot more buttons to, like, if you have like accidentally anything pushed, like there's like listen, and I think it's like performance or it's a button on the far right there. There's like ones that like everything acts normally except like when you play something back or something, and it's like why aren't I getting anything in my headphones? So I was just using the just like basic interface with the mixer running, just the XLRs running into it out of the mixer. And that, it was a good sound. Some days I'd even kind of like mic up a guitar amp, freshen it up, and I remember.
Were you doing like usually acoustic or what? Or like you're doing guitar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
mostly guitar. Because I mean, before that, I had like beginner drum lessons as well, and some keyboard. So that was another thing where I could have like things. The drums was the weirdest. Some of them, I was just like, you're gonna have to move this person with a drum kit at home. Like this, this young person, I can just like, tell them what they should be doing based on what I'm doing. And I had like a practice pad set up and also like drum machines. So, which was actually like really helpful to some of them, because like they, like looking at the little black dot, the traditional notation. Some of them, like it helped when they see it in like a drum sequencer, right? I'd share screen on a drum sequencer, and then like all of a sudden seeing that grid made the classical notation make sense to them. So yeah, I was still like doing everything. I just by now we're skipping ahead, but by like the second school year of still doing online lessons, I had narrowed it down to just guitar for my own simplicity. Yeah. What where were we? Oh yeah, so and at this point, I don't when's the all right, let's take a look at the podcast here.
When Zyla was in here, I looked. We did like 1 or 2 in July 2021.
Oh, we've done.
Oh no, wait, in 2020. Sorry.
Okay, so I had Olivia Brown and Steve Farrell on here, and that was like COVID not on my radar. We had just released the Attic Sessions, which seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Like we never, like I had an EP being like mixed and mastered at that point. We had just released like a couple of videos. We were planning shows on those things. I had a thing with Evan too, that we had like a calendar full of dates.
Okay. Yeah.
On that.
Wow.
And, yeah. It's just, winter, like beginning of 2020 was looking very bright. I think for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
So February 24th was that, and then we didn't do another podcast until July 27th.
Yeah,
and
July.
I'd say like March, April, I don't think we were even thinking about it. Even I don't think we'd even talked about like doing an online one. I think it was just like we were taking in too much.
I didn't get into Discord or know really what it was until like June. I don't think.
Even after a few sessions of using it, I still don't know.
Yeah, because then my buddies and we were doing like game nights and shit over Discord. Like you'd do like Jackbox or fucking. We got into What the Dub, which is basically, you know what that is? What the Dub? You get like all these like B movie clips and like old black and white movies, and then they'll play a clip, and it'll be like yada yada ba 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 ba, and then for that part it's like a blank, and then you dub in the blank.
Is it kind of like Cards Against Humanity, where a few people pitch one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, well, everybody who's playing plays it because like the system is like the dealer. So
Yeah.
there's not like one person who has to sit out every round or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but you all vote on it. You all vote on like the best response. But it's great because it's like a Microsoft Sam voice that kind of reads the responses, and it'll say anything that you write down. So as you can imagine, sometimes it gets really, really bad and super terrible and reprehensible shit. But yeah, super fun game. And they have another one called Riff Tracks now, which is like the weirdest name for the same thing. It's like literally the same. It's like What the Dub 2, but they called it Riff Tracks for some reason. They I guess because of What the Dub being like a pandemic success, they probably made like a decent pool of money, and then reinvested into getting like better movie clips and stuff like that. So there's actually like There's actually like 80s like B movies, but with like there's like some with like some clips with like John Travolta in them and stuff. So like legit actors, and like it was more like color film instead of just like free to use like black and white random movies and shit.
Oh, okay.
So, but and then I think that the voice was better.
I think that would start getting a lot more fun when you know what they should be saying.
Yeah.
And you can get creative with that. That sounds fun as hell.
Yeah. So that was a
So
good
you're
one. But
using Discord.
That didn't start until well, it was that was in June when we started our Discord, I think June 2020, and then it took a while to kind of like get it or understand like what the you kind of like every time you hung out you figured out more and more stuff you could do with it, like streaming your screen and like everybody, because you kind of had to get creative with it. So we play like Among Us or whatever as well. You kind of like needed somebody like streaming a screen or something like that,
Okay.
As if like you guys were all hanging out in the living room and it's on the TV, so somebody's screen had to be the TV, right? So but we didn't really figure that out for like a little bit, or like we did, but yeah, kind of like we were figuring out what we could play. Jackbox is pretty fun though, like that one's pretty decent. There's some games that are better than others, but yeah, like because you know what Jackbox is? It's like mini party games, stuff like that, and you sign in on your phone with a code so that you can use like your phone as like the like vote for this or like write something in.
Oh, I have played that.
Yeah.
I played that at Scott's once.
Yeah. So there's like 6 or 7 editions of Jackbox now, and like there's probably like I don't know, like 8 mini games in each one or something. So yeah, but some are more fun than others in my opinion. But that was always a good time. So that was actually probably like the next like uptick and like highlight of like actually enjoying like being away from people completely, like being completely isolated. Like up until that point, it's just like I said, I was drinking a lot, so it's like. But I feel like a lot of people were doing that because there was like literally.
Did you
nothing
start
to
like sort
do.
of like like 2 weeks off, like not having to commute? Like it's semi-celebrating drinking. Like, was there a positive element to the drinking and like to quell the fear, and then over time, like the positivity wore off and the fear turned into uncertainty?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like. It was probably like on like a more subconscious level. It was just kind of like masking feelings or lack thereof. But yeah, like a lot of it was just passing time. Like there was a lot of time and like nothing to really do. And then like there was like, especially within like the first like let's say like 4, 5, 6 months, you're like doing that natural human thing where you're just like, all right, well, let's make the best out of this. What can I do? Or how can I like doing music. So what can I do to like engage with people online, like from home and stuff? And like some people did that really well, but like if you like, like it's a lot of effort to like put together like a fucking,
it's a different kind of effort than like bringing your shit to a live show.
Yeah.
And like we play a lot. Like, I mean, we did.
yeah.
And that was like, yeah, to be like, I'm live streaming now, like by yourself, which we did.
Yeah.
But it never became like, for some people, like they started doing that and sort of had like found like, oh, maybe this is like what I should have always been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like Vinny saying one time when I was on like Facebook Live or Instagram Live or something, and I was just I specifically put a metronome on like in my headphones and just played the same beat for like as long as I could. I was
Vinny jammed with you.
Yeah,
yeah,
right, yeah, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool, but at the same time, like I don't know what you guys are playing.
Yeah.
I just know the beat that I'm playing. It's
Did
very,
you ever
like,
get
basic.
to see it after?
I don't know, maybe.
That's funny.
Maybe somebody took a video. I can't remember.
Yeah, because it was like Vinny was playing to you, and then I was playing to you, playing to Vinny, and we were all like live streaming the same, like your off of your groove.
Yeah.
The latency was great on.
Oh yeah,
that.
okay. So that did happen too. I remember that we did. Yeah, I remember one time I was playing like a very basic beat, and then I think that Vinny was just playing like on his own, like to it. But then there was another time where we were kind of like jamming. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where
then,
it was like a little bit more premeditated.
And then also I would do some like Facebook calls with Scott Marsh and Dean Caldwell. And we would try jamming over those too. Wow, I like almost like completely forgot that now.
Me too.
That's so weird. Wow, cool. Yeah. So that was pretty fun too. And like for all of that stuff, I was like smoking a decent amount of weed too. So that was like actually like fun to, cause like if I'm like high and drumming, especially if I have like a metronome or something, like it's so easy to just do one thing for a long time.
It feels good.
Yeah. And like it's actually like doing that like as a drummer, doing like, just your basic rock beat for like an hour can really like improve just your sense of like time, meter, like just like plotting out phrases. Like 16 bars in your head like just gets contextualized so easy when you're just playing the same thing over and over and over again. Like it's tough at first because it's just really boring. Mm-hmm. But if you play a rock beat like kick snare for an hour straight, you start to like really just like think about like if it's 16 bars, you just think about that chunk like playing in your head and then it looping, or thinking about it as like sheet music in your head.
And you get way more intentional about like what you add to it, and you notice yourself adding things and then sounding whack, and then you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Nah. And then you like do like a one tom fill.
Yeah.
And it's like that was exactly what it needed.
That's the other thing too, is like when you almost treat it like a lesson for yourself to just really like repeat the same basic thing, like but and really not stray from it. So like and then adding like the smallest fill, it's like I know people who have gone on like a specific diet where it's like you go from like eating like shit, like
it's an elimination diet,
to like literally eating like let's say boiled potatoes, and that's it. No spice, no nothing. And then you add like maybe like some pepper after 2 weeks, like adds just some pepper on top, ground pepper, and that like it's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth because you're just like your senses go back to being like totally base level, right?
People do that to like isolate like intolerances that they might have.
Okay.
So they'll go on like something super basic, rice or potatoes or something, and then they'll add back like singular foods or food groups in like 2-3 week chunks, and see if their symptoms kind of like reoccur if they're having like some gastrointestinal stuff. But
right.
And it is we can equate the gastrointestinal issues to fucking up the groove with unnecessary fills or cymbal hits. Band leaders love that too, though. Like when you just like, it's very rare that someone who's paying you to play for them turns around and is like, "Could you do more fills?"
Yeah.
That's like if you just come in and like play the bare minimum perfectly, though, like confidently and perfectly, and like nothing else, like they might be like but they'll never be like no.
Yeah Well, I mean, but that's how you get good consistent gigs as drummers anyways, is not like being super flashy. You just like really having your brilliant basics or whatever.
Brilliant basics? Did you steal that from someone?
I think they say it at work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think so. It's some corporate bullshit, but I'm co-opting it.
That's good. I like it when you say it, and I liked it a little less when you said it was like a Toronto corporate thing.
Yeah. It really killed it. Just as it was starting to fly.
It's all right. That's the truth in like everything. I coped with the whole like lockdown once we saw that the lockdown was going to be longer. And even right from the beginning, I was like, whatever, I'm going to use this time to be productive. There's literally not a single thing that I can do. I just like made sure that I was using my time constructively, like the whole time, which I think had it been, like actually 2 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months or whatever, I think would have been pretty healthy, but it eventually ended up like really burning me out. But it was like I took this learning how to learn course on Coursera.
Okay.
And I actually asked one of the creators of the course if she'd do the podcast, and she wrote back that it sounded like a maybe on like a release cycle. She's like, I'm writing a book right now. I can't. But anyway, I did this course, and it just like, it's like a few week course that kind of like teaches you how to process information and new, it kind of equates it to like studying, but also learning new physical techniques like in sports or music. And that was already kind of, I had read a lot on that topic. And to be honest, I don't remember learning anything like new and mind-blowing in that course, but to like sit down and be reminded of all of this stuff for like 4 weeks or whatever it was, really kind of ingrained in my head, and I was applying it the whole time. So I was like using these Pomodoro timer techniques.
What's that?
So the Pomodoro it's a reference to those stupid looking like tomato egg timers.
Okay.
But it's just in their method, like 25 minutes is a good amount of like intense focus, and that kind of mandatory break at the end, even like just like 2 to 5 minutes away from the thing, just so you can kind of like step away and come back and see the big picture again, which is something that I have had, and probably still, if I'm not conscious of it, I struggle with like hyper focusing on a certain thing.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, it's that was another thing. Well, that's down the line, but yeah, learning about ADHD, had time for therapy with all the time off. That was fun. Continues to be fun. So so I would kind of like, I'm taking this course. I was like, I should learn some more guitar solos, because I'm more of like a jazz guy, you know? Like I learned a bunch of solos when I was learning, and now I'm like, I know I can do it. I don't need to prove to anyone that I can do it. If there's a lick I really like, you know, but I'll kind of unpack that. But I was like, there's a few solos that I should just like learn to play from start to finish. And then like time for drum chops, I was like, I'm just gonna, I would like set up a pillow kit around right here, you know, like toms off to the side, got a hi-hat and stuff, imaginary hi-hat. That's how Dave Grohl learned.
Oh yeah, I think I recently heard him talking about like drumming on pillows pretty much or whatever.
Yeah, it was like he would just like put on Rush and like just imagine what Neil Peart would be doing, and then the first time, I don't know if he was like the rhythm guitarist or like the singer in his band, and like the drummer didn't show up, and like the first time he played drums, like they replaced him in their band with the drummer, and that was like the first time he had ever been on a drum kit.
It's amazing.
He's just been whacking the shit out of him because he's been hitting pillows. It explains his grip too, right? Like very army with it, right?
Yeah.
So Duolingo, I was working on my Spanish, and I was just like, I'm just gonna, like, there's nothing I can do about any of this stuff. I'll, tune in, get a little bit informed as to what's going on, and then I'm going to just like work on all of these different goals, and this whole thing will be over. Like, all of them have been, but that got like darker over time, where I was like approaching a sort of burnout, and like we weren't really approaching any sort of like resolution to like where,
or at least it was harder to feel like you could see it, like, you know, like, I mean, it might just be like being naive, but at first you were like, yeah, I feel like I can feel what the end of this is going to be like maybe it's a couple months or something.
I think a lot of us naively thought that, it would be like an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it.
Yeah, right.
Like, we can go back. And now we're just like, for all intents and purposes, we are back, but no one ever really said it. They're like, these things are okay for now. And it is like all the things basically, but it doesn't, I don't yet feel like it couldn't all just like come back and everyone like, okay, don't talk to anyone or don't be within 10 feet of someone who doesn't live in your own house.
Yeah.
And then there was like the rules, like,
it's so weird because like if that does happen again, like I don't know if people are gonna have the same response to it, like I feel like now that we've done it a couple times and like this summer has been pretty open restriction wise, and
like almost entirely,
and certainly within our province, like other places in the world, and like in the States and stuff, like certain states and shit, like they've been pretty open for a minute now, but like this summer has felt very like regular.
Yeah.
So if like it comes, because I remember like the first summer it was like doing okay, and then once the kids went back into school it got fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Like the numbers got really messed up, which makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No one should have been surprised at that.
Yeah.
At least.
Fuck, I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, like I don't know, man.
So it's that summer. Sorry.
Well, okay, yeah. So, but like that summer, I remember was starting to open up and stuff, and then
we were doing things outdoors. You could do things outdoors.
Yeah,
we were going to the doors.
Oh, right,
outdoors at the doors,
right,
having
right.
some vegan tacos.
Yeah. Doors Pub in Hamilton has really good tacos. Like, it's almost a mind fuck how good they are, because you're just like, why is the food coming out of this dungeon so fucking good?
And it's not. Yeah, it's not that like a ton of effort is going into it, but
That's
of
why
their
it's
hearts.
good, though. That's why it's good. Is it feels like white people taco night in like the 90s.
Yeah,
It's like
Old El Paso.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, or like Clubhouse seaning.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just like the tacos my mom would make when I was young. Like worked a full day and now has to like shit out a meal for the people at home. That's what the Doors tacos feel like. They're all right, fine, we gotta fucking feed these idiots. Which is like very respectable that they do that,
Yeah, and but it costs like they do that too,
Pretty affordable, man.
Yeah. But and at that time, so yeah, it's like there was this sort of. I mean, for me, it's weird. Like half of my work being so tied to like the school year, and like all of my friends who have like regular jobs, or it's just the same. Like through the summertime, you're doing the same shit. Like you might plan some vacations or whatever, but it's not like things change drastically and like your schedule is like wide open for 2 months. like we knew enough about the thing that we're like, okay, you can safely be outside with people who aren't showing symptoms. And I was like, all right, we were, and there was this feeling like, you could always justify like eating out because you're like, I'm supporting my community. These people haven't made money.
Yeah.
These guys have been restocking their fridges and then getting told to shut everything down and all that. I feel so bad for it.
Oh yeah,
the
any
restaurant
like bar that was like trying to like buy kegs and like just letting them go bad, like it just sucks.
Yeah.
or just their food in general. Plus, so shitty too because it's just like I hate wasting food in general. So like just the thought of like buying like a box of tomatoes and then all the tomatoes are just not getting used and just turning into shit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it just feels really bad, especially when there's like people in the world who like need need like some goddamn food. So it's like the fact that it's all just like sitting in a fridge and then like going bad sucks. And yeah, like no income coming in. So it's just like they're burning money on their bills and like overhead and whatever else. So yeah, definitely like the second that it was like, okay, you can eat on a patio, it was like, okay, fuck.
I saw a lot of the small businesses taking the public safety like extremely seriously while trying to keep their business going. And like, if you were to look now at the lengths that some of those places were going to, like I remember Amazing Fitness, like the guy would come in a hazmat suit and spray like a sanitizer on all the machines. Like everyone's already wiping down their machines, but like every hour he's fucking like coming in a hazmat suit with like a backpack sanitizer spray and masks on. Like if you look at that 2 years out now, you'd be like, that's over the top.
Yeah, dude,
they were getting shit on. Like I remember people like blasting them on social media, like
for being open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the people on social media that were blasting them, are they even the kinds of people who go to a gym? Like, like that's a great question.
Yeah, it is of no risk to them at all.
Yeah.
It was some folks were like, they had the opportunity to work from home and more annoyingly still, some like, family folks who just like didn't go out much to begin with before and now don't have a commute and are making the same money off of their computer, like barely have a social circle outside of their wife and kids. And they would like be like, actually, it's been great. I love how just fuming.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Keep enjoying this then.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm like kind of a loner, so it was good for me. But like at the same time, like I have like, a dedicated friend circle. Actually, many. Same with you, right? Like it's like so like. As much of like a introvert as I can be, or like especially like at work and stuff, I'm very like reserved or like keep to myself kind of vibe. But then we're active in like doing music and like meeting people through that, or like bandmates, friends, all that kind of shit. So yeah,
I think because maybe because like there's so much friendly collaboration and stuff going on in what we do anyway. We seek being alone, because being surrounded by people is like our norm.
Yeah.
But then when that's gone, you're like, where is everyone?
Yeah.
You maybe like don't notice how much you liked it because you were seeking the other things so much.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, like I mean, from a working perspective, I liked it a lot better because I could just concentrate on work way more and like not have any distractions of being in an office in person. Mm-hmm. That's what the place that I work at. We're in a new office now, and like as cool as it is, and like it, it's got like automatic elevators and stuff like that. Let like work off of your pass and shit, so it just like automatically goes. There's no buttons or anything.
Oh,
like the facilities are very like futuristic slash
What
contemporary.
if you need to go somewhere else?
What do you mean?
Well, like, what if you have a meeting on like the 6th floor and you're normally on the 7th floor?
Well, no, I think that you can pick that actually. I think it's a touch screen.
Oh,
maybe,
there's
maybe.
a touch. So,
basically it's scanning your pass to like know that you work there, kind of thing.
right.
And then, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. As cool as it is that they're like very contemporary like facilities and stuff like that, it's just like still I show up and it's like sit down at the desk. First off, like you don't get your own desk now. It's very like a hybrid thing. You can get a locker, and then like each desk is like the exact same. There's no personal items on them. The monitors are dope. They're like these like 36-inch wide like curved monitors.
Cool.
So it's actually better than at home because like an Excel spreadsheet is just like makes a lot more sense on this thing. But
no scrolling, you can just have the whole
it's
thing
just like
open.
all there. Or if you split it, it's like a perfect split of two. On the
It's
curve.
like you have two different
Yeah,
monitors.
just on the one. Yeah, so if you like drag, like on Windows, how you drag to the right and it just like makes a window, and then same thing. Anyways, as cool as that is, it's like I sit down, get coffee and shit, and then like once I'm like sitting down, I'm like I will work for a while, but then it's just like the floors are so loud, like people walking around, it's just so loud, people's conversations. Like if I don't have my headphones in, like I'm getting distracted, and it's probably like an ADHD thing. But I mean, people like that exist, right? Like I exist, and there's other people who probably have a similarly like functioning brain to me that are there that find it way more distracting. I know that like our like CFO, like the finance guy, like he's I met we did like a party in June, and I remember getting into a conversation with him and somebody else, and he was like, "Yeah, same thing that I'm saying right now. Like as much as it's cool that we have like a new office, like I just work better at home because like way less distractions. I can get 3 hours of work done in like like half an hour if I really crunch, and then I'm like kind of open, and then I can do like more shit, at a more relaxed pace than.
Are you back every day now? Because they kind of acknowledge that you're getting a lot done from home, right?
We're doing maybe one a week. We usually go in for like a team status, so like all kind of huddle and like see where everybody's at with their tasks. See if somebody needs to move some resources around so that like somebody's not getting completely like buried in work and one's and one side of the team is like in a lull period or whatever. Just kind of spread the wealth or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's been very like they've been pretty understanding if like you can't or don't want to come in. Like they do want you in once a week, but if you can't, like there's been some times where because we have a dog now. Meg and I have a dog now, so like if she's not there on like if I go in on Mondays typically, and she's not like staying over the Sunday night, waking up and then going like back home Monday morning, then like the dog, if I have to leave in the morning, the dog's in the cage for like or in the crate for like 8-9 hours. It's like not good, because he's like a bigger dog, so it's like I feel shitty about that. So like if that's the case and she can't like offset like 3 or 4 hours for me, then I'll just be like, look guys, like we people got pandemic fucking pets, it happened because like to your point, it's like we had no idea of what was going to happen in the next. I mean, we thought it was 2 weeks, and then it was 2 months, and then it was 2 years. So people started getting like pets and stuff, and that certainly was the case that's why we kind of got the dog. So like you kind of have to, they meaning like on the corporate level need to understand that like life kind of changed like pretty drastically within 2 years. Mm-hmm. And like like I'm going to continue to work, but it's like you kind of have to let me be flexible or whatever.
Aside from like the biggest and most evil corporations, I do feel like I've been seeing a surprising amount of that, where like people's, employers are like super understanding. And I guess because so much like just people don't want to work. I don't know how they're getting away with not working, but like however it works, they're desperate.
Yeah. Apparently, like there's like a extremely high turnover rate now, just across the board. Like for all, like in terms of all positions, like there's a lot of people quitting their jobs to like search for something else, have a complete career change, like just like something totally not like a lateral move, but like a completely different, avenue of whatever. Like if you went from like marketing to like, I don't know, like social work or something like that. Like it's really just like making a career change. I think it's called like the Great Recession or something like that. Is that what it is? No,
the recession is migration. No,
the Great Resignation.
Resignation.
That's what it is.
Yes. Okay, I've heard that term.
Yeah. So,
the Great Migration is from Land Before Time, isn't it?
Maybe
where all the long necks go to find where the leaves are at.
Yeah. So everybody's looking for a different leaf.
Yeah.
Turning over a new leaf.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so I feel like a lot of the job postings I see on like Indeed and on LinkedIn and stuff, LinkedIn more so because LinkedIn kind of serves you on like an algorithm based, like based on what your job is currently. It shows you like relevant job positions, whereas Indeed is whatever you're searching for, generally. So, but I've found that like a lot of those job postings are like, mobile working available, or like hybrid, like totally cool, like it's like a pitch now to get people.
Yeah, I actually don't know how to like undo this, but I guess I accidentally posted my resume like publicly on Indeed, and I'm just like getting people requesting that I apply to jobs constantly. Like every day I have like a couple of emails, and I've just been like for fun going on interviews.
Yeah.
And it'll be like weird stuff, like a Toyota dealership or something. Just like, imagine I just sell cars now.
Have you ever sold cars? No. Perfect.
Can you show up on time and have showered?
Yeah.
I've been known to do that.
You're hired. Please.
You're in, man. Stand on this lot and get people to sign this paper.
I don't think I want to. That's even better. That's really... We love that.
We'll pay you double.
Yeah.
All right. I'll sell the car. I'll sell the cars.
Yeah. Yeah, so what did we get to? We got to July.
Yeah, we're into the summer of 2020. I'll add that in April, we already acquired, Crystal and I already acquired a pandemic kitty. I guess Boom Ju, she's over there somewhere. We were watching.
So you've had her for 2 years?
Yeah, it was in April of 2020, because Crystal was fostering cats, and we had Stilton was like, nobody wanted to adopt him, and we thought we were gonna like just have him for forever, which is like, in that case, like it's like the shelter's cat. He's like on the website and like actively being adopted. We had him for 11 months, which is a long time to get attached to a cat, and then like told the next day like, hey, this nice old lady is gonna come take your cat. It's like, bitch. But she seemed extremely sweet. And then so we got this kitten with a fucked up eye, little, we call her a little s'mores bar, because she's like all the colors of graham crackers and chocolate and marshmallow, right? And we were watching Legend of Korra at the time. It's all right. It's no Avatar: The Last Airbender, but there's this like dragonfly character who is like invisible to when it wants to be, and sometimes it kind of like gaslights this one guy to like be talking about the dragonfly thing, and no one else is seeing it. So we named her after that, because like the day we took her in as a foster, like she just disappeared, and we've had several cats. We know all the cat hiding spots. We didn't find her for hours. right? And then and like I have a picture right there. She's like, you know, you go into the bathroom and to the right of the sink there's like that little there's like that stand, and inside of that there's like, it fits perfectly. It takes up all of the space, that white shelving thing.
Okay.
She was on top of that under the table in this like 3-inch gap.
Just sandwiched in there.
Yeah. So we find her after like 3 hours, and then she's like, she takes off again, and then we lose her again, and she was like in this like crawl space between the tub and the wall. So yeah. And then first, I have nothing but bad things to say about this cat, and then we just loved her so much that we're like, they're not taking another one from us, and then we like told them that we're adopting her.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, no one's taking our Boomy away from us. There's her in that crawl space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do love getting into like a nook. Same thing with all of mine. I had like my basement flood, like not flood, but like I had water damage in it like a couple of weeks ago, or like a month, or it's 2 months now. And I had to pull up like all these. I had like some mattresses and like storage or whatever, and now they're all like on the main floor, and the cats just like love sleeping on top of, because they're all like on their side, so they're tall, so they all get like a bookshelf to like sleep on. Or like hide under them, or like any combination, like what, like when they're like zooming at each other, and like they just like somehow like tunnel through shit like really quickly. It's really fun to watch. Do you want to, let's wrap this one up, and then we'll kick on to the next one. We're at an hour 7 here.
Oh shit, we didn't even make it. We barely
we can
scratched.
We can do part 2.
Part 2 of the same thing.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd rather do like one whole on topic one than like a 2-parter out of, like, it's podcast. Like, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
Podcast listeners are no strangers to clicking
be fair,
on
the next the next 18 months are like a blur for me, and are significantly less interesting because you're in this like swinging state of like hey, we're good now. No, we're not good now. Oh, we're good now. Oh, we're not good now. And it's
so
just
maybe
like
we'll get through this quickly. Where are we at right now? Like an hour or something?
We're at an hour 8.
An hour 8. All right, cool. Let's see if we can get through this, and then we'll.
Yeah. Well, okay. So yeah.
So we've made it to the summer, and here we have a podcast with Mike Molnar, in July.
July. Yeah. Okay.
That was of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. July. Yeah. And then my mom passed in the August, and I like, this is why I say the next 18 months is kind of just dog shit for me, because like my drinking definitely ramped up around then too, so like it wasn't great. And then it definitely got worse then, just kind of like numbing vibes and shit. But then also like we were trying to do like a what do you call it? Like a
memorial.
Yeah, like some kind of memorial or like celebration of life. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And it was like in September you were allowed to have a gathering of like 20 people or something like that, let's say. And we were gonna do that, and it was when we still had the farm out in Ancaster too, so that was gonna be perfect because that's where she grew up too, right? But then I think like my one aunt was just like really paranoid, which is totally fair. Like that's fine. Also, she went through cancer as well, so she's probably like just kind of like worried about that kind of level of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, totally fair, right? Like she was like, she's like fully recovered from chemo and stuff like that. But I remember she lost her hair as well. Like my mom lost all of her hair and everything. Like that's what happens, right? You start losing like. Your fingernails become super brittle, and like fucking, it really like is just like rupturing you as a human. But I feel like if I was in her position, I would just generally be scared of like anything like compromising me at that point. You know,
your aunt, right?
Yeah. So she didn't want to do it. That was fine. But then like we still haven't done anything. Like my dad and I talked about like the other week, where it's just like we just never did like a memorial or anything because it just like almost like passed, you know. Like we did like a because my birthday's in September, my dad's birthday in September, so like we did kind of like a half and half birthday / like, you know, everybody get together kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that like in our heads sort of felt like it. So it's like at this point, why bring it up, you know, for no reason other than like.
Did you do a burial or cremation or?
Yeah, my mom's cremated. Yeah.
Did you?
We haven't done anything with.
Are you planning to like spread the ashes?
Yeah,
or?
I think we're gonna do something. My brother and I talked about because we went to Nevada like 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that.
That's where you took the photo. That's the second son.
Oh yeah, in that ghost town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was at the back of that barn. The actual picture is pretty cool too, but I like the way that cover edited.
Yes, that has been manipulated to anyone.
Yeah, it
any
doesn't
Zero
really,
Fire fans.
It doesn't really
there.
look like that.
These unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah. But yeah, so we when we went to Nevada, we went out to Area 51, or like just like in the general area. Like obviously you can't get. Once you get to a certain point, there's like a Humvee like up on the ridge, and you can see it seeing you, and you're like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. I've talked about this already before, but anyways, so there's a little town outside of that called Rachel, and that's where that like little alien is. It's actually in Paul. Is it Paul?
Yeah, it's called Paul with the British guy,
Sean Pegg.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is Nick Frost in that too?
The British guy.
The British funny man.
That
you've got red on you.
There's only one person that could be.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where that is.
So that was like a family trip, like you and your brother and
yeah,
your parents did that.
Yeah. And then so anyways, long story short, like we kind of were talking about like taking half of the ashes there and doing that there, because my mom, there's a very like poignant trip for my mom. I think my mom's like a total like space nerd and like alien nerd and stuff.
That was like on her list for a while, probably going to Roswell.
Yeah, and like and just like you know, every like road stop in Nevada, like there's so much like alien bullshit, like just like little trinkets and fucking vodka bottles with aliens on them and shit like that. So like,
did your mom fuck with sci-fi, or was she?
Yeah, my mom was like a Trekkie, hardcore
Star
Trekkie.
Trek.
Yeah,
original or Next Generation, all of the above.
All of it, yeah.
Nice,
and
my
then,
kind of person.
And then both my parents really like Star Wars too, but they grew up on like Star Trek for sure.
Nice.
So yeah, so like that. So yeah, that was probably like pretty cool for her to do that in general. And then like she liked that movie Paul, so going to that like because that
specific alien, that
little alien restaurant thing is in the movie, so that was cool for her. Yeah, so but
so you're thinking half there, half,
and then half maybe, I don't know, somewhere here or something,
somewhere. Yeah. Significant terror. Do you have to, you think, declare that?
I don't know.
When you're crossing the border?
I have no clue.
Would you rather be safe, or would you rather just be like, oh, that?
Oh, this box full of ash?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. You could maybe like ship it to a P.O. box or something like that and then pick it up.
So then you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Is that more risky?
I don't know. I mean, if you have a gun in the box, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely don't.
Or
put
like
a
explosives
gun in
or something.
We're not
casting mom's ashes. We're doing a fucking demolition.
My mother loved this Glock.
All right, you get to push the pin in. Powder keg.
Hunter S. Thompson, right? He had his ashes strapped to like a big firecracker, didn't he?
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You could do that in the desert.
Yeah, you could.
So easy to get some intense fireworks too.
You could probably like throw a grenade, like pretty far, like Uncle Rico style, and just fucking
over the mountains,
and then just fucking, yeah. See a little dust cloud pop up. So so now we're in September. September was
we did a second. We did Look at Our Snakes. We did Turbo League. We did 4. I thought we only did Mike Molnar.
Yeah, we did 2
Dope
in
Chief.
December, right?
Oh yeah, Turbo League.
Snakes was when, October or something?
August 11th.
Okay. Okay, so we did Molnar and Snakes like one after another, pretty much.
Yeah, sort of like 2 weeks apart.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then those 2 solo ones. Was it 2 solos?
Yeah, no, Dope Chief.
Oh, yeah.
Dope Chief number 2.
Right.
That one. Yeah.
That was good.
He's
that was
a
good.
great guest. You can talk to him forever.
Yeah, he's an interesting man.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a solo one, right?
Yeah, so we did. I think we might have even done those. Cold Coffee's Fugue States Bullet Chest, the song that goes na 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 hey. All right. So I got into chess there as well. I think everyone did, based off of what was that show with the
Gambit?
Yeah, Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
Someone made that joke that like if the 2 actors from it had a child together, their eyes would be like the normal distance apart. That's a mean and hilarious thing to say. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. She has pretty spaced out eyes.
She has very wide eyes,
Yeah.
and then like that guy who's like kind of a dork, who's like sort of in love with her, and like she just kind of like he sort of like coaches her, and then she like surpasses him completely. Okay. So December, I don't really specifically remember much happening in December 20. I think that we were on that was like the beginning of like a hard lockdown. I think shortly after we did that second
Boxing
podcast.
Day was like the closing point or something. Wasn't it? Or was it right before? I feel like it's right after Christmas. It like shut down really fucking hard.
I think so. I think they were like, we're going to shut it down. And that was another thing that was like so insane. It's just like, well, if it's unsafe now, like can't we all just be like acting in like towards the good of all things, not like these are the rules, so get all of your close quarters. Like the rules will be this in 3 days, so everyone just like swarms and like tries to do all the things in the days before. And even like we talked about this on that Lost pod that that we did over Discord, but just like the curfews were so ridiculous. It's like you're making us do everything in an 8-hour span instead of like giving everyone, like if anything, like maybe like
curfew.
Yeah, did we forget about curfews?
Yeah, what was that? Was it like 11 or something?
It was at one point. It was like grocery stores couldn't be open past 9 o'clock
to like drive people home, kind of to get people out the door and like moving home.
Like it doesn't make sense, right?
So
it's like if you work, if you work like evenings, like I would,
or night shift in a hospital, like
anything. Yeah, exactly. Your normal time to go to the grocery store is like 11 at night, and there's normally no one there. And now you're like all of those people are another person in that like 8-hour window.
You got to like cut your sleep off just to go get fucking eggs or whatever. Like, wow. Yeah, so stupid. Yeah, I remember like just being like, okay, cool. There's a time-based element of this now. That's fucking makes no sense.
Yeah. How long did that?
I don't remember. Maybe it was a couple weeks, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
It like went into the new year of 2021, and we were all like,
the other thing that was happening constantly was they would do 2 week windows because you're supposed to isolate for 2 weeks, right? That's the ingoing, like, the estimate is if you do 14 days and you're not showing symptoms anymore, then you should generally be good to, interact with people again or whatever. But they would shut shit down for 2 weeks, which makes no fucking sense because there's, like, so much, like, interpersonal stuff happening in those 2 weeks even still. Like, 2 weeks doesn't do jack. You would need, like, 4 or 6 weeks to like really be locked down for like all of the crossing like lines to have
like people
ceased.
being asymptomatic and carrying while the thing's like taking hold in their system, and then like 10 days later they start their like symptomatic period of like 6 days.
Yeah. So like you're gonna have overhang on either side, and it's just like, well, that makes no fucking sense. The disease doesn't know better. It's not like, oh shit, they're shutting down, so I better fucking get my shit together. Doesn't make any sense. So we did go into another lockdown then. Did we do any more? I think March of the next year there was one, right?
No, that was
it?
Like, yeah, what was it? December 15th of 2020 with Dope Chief for the second time was the last podcast that we did.
No, but I mean like locking down. Did we do any
another
more?
lockdown?
I think there was one more in March.
Did,
or something
we were
like
locked down from New Year's Day this year.
Oh yeah,
because I remember playing tennis indoors and being like, everything shuts down after this.
Right.
Like on New Year's Eve,
right.
I was at Rosedale with Justin.
Right.
Just like, and it was like so weird too, because it's like you're like on the tennis court like 72 feet away from another person, and it's like tomorrow this is going to become prohibited because like what?
Yeah. Okay, and then yeah,
I like how my entire Instagram just like, I think everyone just started going on these like pandemic mental health walks throughout their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which I will say was like a magical thing, because like taking the same walk every day through the spring, like you were seeing like the buds show up on the trees, and the next day they'd be like a little bit more prominent, and then the next day you're seeing the green pop out of them. And then so nature, pretty cool. It felt like, I don't know how much, I know there was like very, very little traffic. No one was going anywhere. No one was, had anywhere to go. And it did seem like you could like see the moon clearer. It seemed, I don't know, the world seemed higher res, but maybe that was just a result of, what do you think? Do you
being
think
understimulated? So like,
yeah, you finally like, you come outside for that 45 minutes a day and you're like, whoa, everything's so crisp.
yeah.
But probably smog factors into that to some degree. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
sure.
for sure. I would think so.
I mean, there's no way it doesn't, but like how much of that is, but like, I mean, I know what I saw. I saw the stars in Hamilton on a crisp June night.
That sounds pretty wackadoo to me, man.
Wackadoo, exactly.
Okay, so we're into like February of 21.
Like 21, and let's see.
I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I'm just like flipping through my
heavily
Instagram.
drinking, by the way. Still just hitting the booze super hard. I'm consistently doing like $40 alcohol container returns like every 6 months.
Damn, dude,
it's hefty. Like I've been drinking a lot over the last 2 years. I've tested a lot of product. I know what's good and what isn't. I know what whiskeys I do and do not like.
Are you still?
I'm trying to curb it a bit, but like Meg and I have been in the summer of in the fall of 21 we went on a trip to Tobermory and Manitoula Island. And there's a Tobermory Brewing Company. There's a Split Rail on the island, and then did we go to another one? Maybe it's just those two. But like we've been really like hitting breweries more. So like I've been trying to like not just drink to pass time as much, but like still enjoy like testing out like beers from different places and stuff like that, like making it more of like a fun or like test thing.
So it is kind of like naturally curbing itself.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Also, I've been I found this non-alcoholic craft beer called Libra that's like non-alcoholic. It's a pale ale. They do a bunch of different ones, like different types, but the one that I've had from the LC in Brantford is a pale ale. It tastes fucking pretty good. And like I mean, I like drinking beer, so it's like I don't always just want to like rely on alcohol as like a vice or whatever. I also like again like a large part of my life I didn't drink at all, so I'm always just kind of like on the fence about like how much it's affecting me and like if I'm ever going into like a negative spiral, I know that it's just like waking up with a headache too many times is like really fucking with my like circadian rhythm or whatever.
Right.
You know? So I just know that I need to kind of, you know, fucking pump the brakes a bit. Sometimes it's tough, but like I feel like I'm, you know, the amount of non-alcohol drinking I did throughout high school and college and all that shit, like prepared me for being like, no, I need to switch this shit off really bad, you know, which is hard for some people, like very hard for some people to do.
What is
like turning off, like
stop?
Yeah, to stop drinking
entirely?
in general. Yeah, because like some people need like you know, it's like all or nothing kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
like with their vices, but
you're more like I'll just have beers on social events, hard liquor occasionally when appropriate.
I mean, I still it's sometimes it's again like maybe it's just because of like the momentum of the last 2 years, like still kind of like just like you said, there was never like a okay guys, we're all good now point. So like I still feel like I'm like mentally I'm like in it, even though like we're hanging out now and like I've gone to concerts and stuff.
But no one has gone on the news and said, like congrats.
Yeah.
We've beaten it.
So even though we are kind of like healing, I still feel like I'm still have like some of the momentum behind me of like everything I was doing during the last like 24 months or whatever. So it's like I'm still I still do drink in the week a little bit, but I'm trying to like not as much just because it's like not super healthy at all. You know, so yeah, but yeah.
Through that winter, that like first lockdown winter, I think it was that one. I just like I gave myself a free pass to just smoke as much weed as I wanted in my spare time. Is just like
yeah because you took a break for a little while too, right?
You know what? Yeah, well, because it was part of that kind of like hyper productivity coping strategy, like part of that, and part of like I was playing tennis in a lot of my free time, and most of the time it was just not conducive to a good time playing tennis. I know like me and you would smoke and play tennis and that would be fun, but like when the pace is like higher or like other people are like counting on you to like, you know, be aggressive and stuff, and you just want to like keep a rally going.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, ooh, yeah. You get someone said I'm more of an artist as a tennis player the other day, and I'm like, all right, I'll take that.
You're like, well, I am an artist. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
That is the core of my being.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. Although I'd like to win a little bit more than I do. Yeah. So yeah,
well, I'm also an artist, and I would love to win a lot more than I do.
I think it's just a cycle of abuse. You know. Like,
yeah.
So I didn't. It just like I just kind of forgot to do that, which is, you know, if you're gauging the addictiveness of a substance, that's. I don't know what that says, but that you can just be like, oh wow, has it really been 7 months since the last time I did this?
Yeah.
Like I can't do that with coffee.
Yeah.
But in like start of 2021, I think I had you know, that December was just like, oh, whatever, you know, sad Christmas. Or we had Did things change? I think you're right that they changed on Boxing Day, because I remember that we had my parents over on the porch for Christmas.
Oh, really?
On yeah. And we like rescued a cat, and the cat's name turned out to be Vanessa. It was just like a stray cat, and I was like, it was just like walking around, and Crystal goes, "That's like a Bengal," and I'm like, "What's that mean?" It looked like a little leopard, and she's like, "That's like a $4,000 purebred cat. It should not be out here." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I like went and got some like treats and like got it into our vestibule over there, and and then like started looking on like Facebook and Google and Kijiji and stuff, and found that this cat had been missing in like December. It was a cold winter.
Holy fuck.
For 21 days or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, turned out the cat's name was Vanessa. We kind of...
Did you get it returned to its owner then?
Yeah, same day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very ended well for Vanessa there.
That's good.
But then, so I think this was like my last... I'm just like looking at my own Instagram feed to like remind myself of like where we were at through this. So, the first 3 months of 2021 was like the final push of like that kind of grinding my way through the pandemic emotionally with blinders on, trying to like just be productive musically, because I was like, I'm gonna post a video on YouTube every week for 3 months and see how I like doing that. The first one I did was I was like 280 days into a Duolingo streak, learning Spanish. I'd picked up some Spanish traveling to Costa Rica in the past, and I covered this like Jorge Drexler song, and then kind of kept that promise to myself over the 3 months. And then after that like last push, I was like, it's still not over yet. It's like we're at a year, and that's I think that's where it gets. I mean, we'll still go through here. I'm back to just like nature pics.
Oh yeah, I remember that. What, that was this year or that last year?
That was 2021. Oh, this is when they shut down the outdoor tennis courts. Okay. And that I remember that being like a real sort of like we have monkeys in charge.
That was after we hung out at Gage Park, right?
Yeah, we went
were
to
climbing
Gage
trees and shit.
Yeah, we were climbing trees.
That's right when I got this.
Oh yeah,
I think so, because I remember I was trying to not scratch it.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was super fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we popped up on Graham's porch and just like did a photo shoot on his ring cam.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good album cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crystal's been getting better at the ukulele and the guitar, so we can start
Gangster
a band
rap
right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't matter that she's playing ukulele and guitar, because she's going to be rapping, and so will you and I, and we're just going to be rapping over beats.
Yeah, on God.
FR. Wait, do you say FR, or does it just mean for real? Oh, you go for. All right, you say on God again.
On God. Yeah. So. Okay. So we're in 2021. We're in what, the summer now?
Yeah.
I don't remember much at all. You know what?
I got married.
I'm realizing I don't really remember much at all in general. Yeah, I do remember you getting married. It was a great wedding. I thought that it was like the best ceremony, one of the best ceremonies I've ever been to.
Yeah, we had Leo singing. That's when a hornet stung me, and hilariously, there was just like a lot of wasps. Yeah. A lot of people were actually getting stung by bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was that was fantastic. fantastic. If I would recommend anyone who's in love and wants to bring the government into it, just do it in a friend or family member's backyard. Get your boy, who's one of like the greatest songwriters this generation has seen, to play you some songs while your loved one walks down the aisle, and keep it to under 30 people. Upset some people drastically who did not make the cut. And no, I don't think. I think everyone was actually very understanding. Some people, because we decided on the Monday, we're like, we called up like some people who like absolutely had to be there, and then like the whole, our entire, like family units were available, and I'm like, all right, we're getting married on Sunday. Let's do this.
What day was that?
It was September 5th, 2021.
Oh, okay.
Which I like because...
Okay, yeah, there it is.
Because that is also 9:05.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keeping it close to home.
Keeping it 9:05.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we went on a float the next day. That's great. That we did a lot of floating last year on the Grand River.
That's a good-ass weekend. I have yet to join on one of those.
Yeah,
and
you
I'd
gotta
like
do
to.
that.
Yeah. It keeps almost happening and then not happening. Yeah, and then that's funny. I just like... I have like 4 posts from then to like the next December.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of beer in my Google Photos. A lot of vodka sodas. Went to Niagara a couple times. Went to this thing called Frightmare on the Falls.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a horror convention, but it was very reduced because like we were still in like that flux of like a lot of like the like horror movie stars and stuff couldn't get across the border still. So like there was not a lot of like star power at the thing, but the vendors were still pretty cool. Like there was still a lot of like people selling like patches, like cool like horror themed patches and like buttons and fucking random shit.
But it was mostly just like the Canadian side of it was representing, and
yeah, so like horror hot sauce and shit like that. Yeah, so that's October. Like I said, I went on that trip to Tobermory and Manitoulin Island. Split Rail is a cool brewery if you're ever up there. Very cool in like the bay. It's in Gore Bay, and which is just a dope name in general. And when we went down there, it was like raining kind of, or like getting to be raining, and it was like really low hanging fog. It was just like very vibes getting there. and then we had like a couple pints, and then I was driving back to our place, and we like ran into, but we were crossed by like an entire family of deer on our way out. And I just remember like they were just like as slow as they fucking could crossing the road. Like they're just like, hey, fuck up. Whatever. You wait.
Were you like, oh, gorgeous, or were you a little bit put off by their presumptuousness that you
no. There's deer are like if you're not like I've heard that deer suck like if you're like really close to them, but like but just watching them from afar, pretty amazing.
My friend who's a hunter recently told me that every deer has like a head full of bot flies, like, and like larvae and shit.
Ew.
Like when you
really?
Yeah, like when you split open a deer skull, just like maggots are just all up in there.
Oh god.
And it's just like all of them. At least maybe it's like that's like a deer pandemic happening in Ontario, or maybe that's just like everywhere.
So that's happening post mortem, right?
No.
Oh no, it's like
that's just already going on.
Those things are like eating their brain.
Yeah, have you heard of bot flies? They're disgusting. They like burrow into or like they lay their eggs under like an animal's skin, and then like their larvae like eat their flesh while they're alive.
Ugh.
Like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, so gross.
Howie Mandel loves that. So stoked on bot flies. I saw July Talk in December.
21
Yeah. That was
of 22.
yeah, of 21.
We are in 22 now.
What else?
Yeah, because
Anything else?
all right,
I saw Girth. I saw Girth in Guelph.
when?
December 10th.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I see this post from me. Ah, shit, here we go again on January 4th. So I think that was like we had like an open like holiday season, and then at the last minute they're like, actually, don't go back to doing things.
Yeah.
And then shit walks outside. Me trying to be productive, but like noticeably more not doing good. All of my posts just like deteriorate into shit posts. I'm not trying to make music anymore. I'm just fucking with filters. Let's see. Oh, and then April 12th. We have a band practice, and we had the Kill Room. All right, we were practicing for the Kill Room, which actually happened in May.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, also, we were supposed to have a show at the Staircase in January.
And then
That closed
went
down.
out of business
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
before we got to play there.
Yeah, but I did see a show there. I saw Grabber and Absorb and
Before you were in it.
yeah, because they posted that they were looking for a vocalist in like January, February. After that, Yeah,
okay.
so-
had you talked to them at that show, or did you know them before?
I did after their set when they were outside, like very briefly. I knew their vocalist before because I was doing comedy shows at Brantsterdam in Brantford, which is it's like a weed cafe there.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if it's still there. It probably has been busted 3 times since, but yeah,
Are they
Wally was
working on allowing that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? But yeah, Wally Warwick was doing comedy show, like open mics, sort of. Like you kind of had to get booked, but like it was very much like an open mic there.
Got you.
So
Did people was there like spot pay, or was it?
he would give me like $5 or $10.
Oh, okay, so
Which is
it was
totally
like
fair.
they'd like split the door based on
Maybe,
or
yeah.
like
Or
split
like-
the hat.
Or if there even was one, it might have been the cafe like giving him like just like a pool for the
Oh, okay.
So he might have gotten like $50 for running the show, or like $100 he takes 50 and gives the rest of us.
Is
50.
that Andrew Schultz who has that thing where he talks about playing LA for the first time, and he's like, they gave me an envelope with like quarters in it, and I was like, nah, you keep it.
Go ahead. Wow. Yeah. So okay. So
Have you done comedy stuff since?
No, I haven't done it since I haven't done it since 2019. I don't think.
Yeah. Is that something you're missing, or?
Not really. I bombed enough times that I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. But like, I would probably try it again, but I would want to be very like succinct in like what I'm talking about. I was starting to get like,
What do you mean by that? Like more joke writing?
yeah, writing more jokes, writing like when I go back to like my notes in my like phone and stuff, like a lot of the shit I'm just like, that doesn't really make any sense, or like it's just not really that funny at all. It's so easy to be in like your head and being like, yeah, that's a funny premise, and then like you go back to it like 3 months later, like that not only is barely English, but it's really not funny at all. And yeah, like I don't know, I kind of like dipped a toe in it, but it's like it's very much like music, and that you just have to fucking really like you have to commit to it if you want to do anything on like a not even a high level, but any sort of level. You really and I would say even more than being a weekend warrior like musician, you have to really fucking commit to like comedy, or else it's just not going to go anywhere.
I think because as a musician, you can practice at home, and there's only so much you can do as a comedian.
Yeah,
maybe I'm like overstating that. Like, yeah, you can write jokes, but like you can write a song and be like, I know this is good, and sometimes you do get like, oh wow, they did not give a shit about that, or worse, like, oh wow, like they hated that, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, you know when it's good. Whereas I feel like with a joke, you might, like you said, you're like, this is, in the moment, you'll like take something, a premise to an open mic. You're like, wow, no one was into that at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, so I don't really miss it at all. I might try it again, but I think I realized that I do like doing music more though, because I feel like I'm more in control of it. And also like it's just more fun being like with people doing music. Like being by yourself, there's like literally nothing you can do if it's going badly.
Yeah.
Like, well, there are things you can do, but you have to put the time and the years in to get to the point where you're digging yourself out.
But there's you're basically all alone out there, and even if like one of your like comedy homies is off to the side being like, you got this, only 3 more minutes, you can get him back, off the side of the stage. It's not the same as like, kind of like having a laugh with the rhythm guitarist. You catch eyes and you're like, wow, they're not picking this up.
Yeah.
And that like lightens the mood. I guess it's easier to imagine touring as just like just being a comedian in your car.
Yeah, that's insane.
I get why people like, find like they're like another comedian and they'll like travel together, because that would be.
Oh, it's insanely. I mean, that's like, talk about isolation. Like, Jesus Christ. That's why so many of them like end up doing like hard drugs and stuff. It's like adding like some type of fun to it.
Don't. I get that, but at the same time, you're like in a new city every day. Like people find ways to, like just like, I guess I'll just do heroin now. It's like, dude, go for a walk. There's like an entire downtown core that like people live in that you have not seen before.
Yeah, or just do heroin and stop trying to fucking like you don't need a reason all the time for everything. If you're doing heroin, you're an asshole. So that's fine. That's fine. Just do it.
Be unapologetic about your intravenous drug use.
All right.
So I think that basically takes us there. We're all caught. We had a show at the Kill Room. It was the first show that, aside from like a couple of like Toronto sideman things for JT that I did outdoors. One of them was outdoors. One of them was indoors, and it was like another one of those confusing things where they were about to change the rules, but like the rules weren't changing for like another 7 hours. So like they crammed 150 people into a tavern, and I remember being like, "This can't be right."
Yeah.
But yeah, the first like show from one of my bands that kind of like broke the 2-year streak. That was at the Kill Room, and then just a couple weeks ago played the summer music showcase with and then I had COVID in June there, I guess. Yeah,
I think I also did.
Nice. Nice.
Well, I see. Oh no, I see a negative test here. Oh yeah, and then I went to vote. I checked my.
You got COVID voting?
No, I checked to see if I did have it before I went voting,
Oh, cool.
just to be safe and like not spread at the polls or whatever.
But before that, you had it.
Yeah, so I was seeing if I was negative. Yeah, and then I've just been recording vocals ever since, and then now we're here. I went to Montreal for the F1.
Oh, cool.
That was pretty exciting. Those cars are so goddamn powerful, man. They literally sound like like fucking pod racers in like Star Wars.
I saw the videos that you posted, and they're just like just blurs.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like a bullet or
Yeah.
like an arrow just like passing. It's just like
The first lap was like, wow, that's pretty fast, and then it's like the second
just gonna
lap,
start.
dude. It's like gong 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 gong. You're just like, whoa. It's like so fucking. It's so like substantial.
that's something I'm trying to, or it's been like a forever practice. One that I've been like really bad at. Where like if I didn't like something or get something, I'd be like, that thing is stupid. But like now, like I listen to people talking about, like different kinds of car racing, and talking about like switching to different types of tires in the pit and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's cool. That's like,
Yeah, my brother is like so into it, dude. Like it's so deep for me. I'm in the same thing that you're talking about, where it's almost like it's so deep that I really just can't get into it.
mm-hmm.
But that being said, like hearing him talk about it is pretty cool, and I think that if I was into it as much as he would, I would totally get it, because it's like, yeah, like doing a pit stop or like a safety car or whatever, like doing a pit stop and like use and like where to do it, almost like a chess move, and switching to hard tires so that it's like you're driving faster, but you're whatever, your like turns are harder to do or whatever. Like
every little thing becomes part of the game at that level.
Yeah, I don't know which is which, but either way, like and everything goes into it. Like these cars are just like so reduced down to everything that needs to be there just to get a little bit of weight off of it, right? So yeah, and also like the they have this like halo system built into the cars, so that if like, because like the cars are literally like fucking tissue paper, so it's like if they flip, like the driver is fucked, but like they have this halo system that like keeps the driver completely safe.
Oh, okay.
So like, because like it's so
obviously
commonplace for them to like some guy nicks his tire, he hits the side and then does a full flip. So like, but without it there, like the guy's like breaking his neck easy.
How often does like a driver in that sport crash? Like, is it
like crash meaning like just run into the side, or
just any sort of thing that, like, does every driver have some sort of like, does every driver have like 3 to 5 flips in their career?
I don't know about
or
flips,
is
but
that-
definitely like pretty decent wallops into like the railing and stuff. I would say so.
Or they kind of
it's
like
very
wobble, speed wobble, and then like turn around. And
it's very common at like at the launch, like when everybody's super packed together, to like have one guy get eliminated right away because like he gets like pit maneuvered or whatever and fucking and then he just spins out and he's fucked. That's not really like a gruesome crash though, but there's some really bad ones for sure.
But see, like, just the fact that we're talking about this is like progress, because like in the past, my ADHD brain would have like created like a bubble around my like interests, and it's
Yeah.
like that's outside of my interests,
Yeah.
and none of this information is getting to me.
Yeah.
Whereas like I was into all of that, and like everything that many people do is being done because there's something to it. People don't just like do a thing because it sucks.
Yeah.
True. You can try a little to understand why people get into something. And so that brings us to today. We don't have shows coming up, but we are working on records. We both just finished recording separate EPs. Is yours an EP or an album?
Yeah, it's an EP. The songs are really long. Like they're all like between 5 to 8 or 9 minutes and change. So it almost
And it
feels
ends up
like
being
it's
like 40 minutes.
It
or-
almost feels like it'll be like 35, 40 minutes. So, but I mean, still an EP. It's 5 songs, but I'm not even really sure like how much I like. They haven't even officially like if if they wanted to fire me, I would never show up on their band page yet. So I'm not even really in the band yet, I don't think, but I am. But yeah, I just finished.
Absorb.
Yeah,
your doom band.
Yeah,
that you're doing lead vocals for.
Yeah, so I just finished that today, and yeah. So
and then I've been working on a 4-song EP with Leo Dragtoe, who's got a good episode on the show. If you scroll back to that, you can listen to that. Hear him perform 3, maybe even 4 original songs. I don't remember how many Leo did, but during our, government-approved outdoor hangs during the pandemic, we wrote some songs. I think we'll have Leo on the show when we release this and maybe tell some stories about that. But I think that it's, I've been talking about working on this with people who know me, but I haven't been like posting about it. I want people to email us. I get people. I don't want to do more social media stuff, and I'll post when new episodes happen, and if I can get like a good flow with it, I'll post some of those clips. I know there was like the one with Dope Chief cracks me up when we were talking about Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah,
on the Instagram page.
Yeah,
the way his brain works, man. Or what did he say? The animals are imagining Christopher Robin.
Oh yeah,
because I was like I've heard it's whatever. You listen to it. Follow the Michael AM radio show on Instagram.
All one word, right?
Yeah. And email us. We want to hear what you think. Do you have a guest in mind? Do not email me and tell me you think you would be a good guest, unless you really, really think you'd be a good guest.
Yeah. What's the email address?
It is the Michael AM radio show @gmail.com. You can make it all one words. Did you know that if you put dots in an email, it doesn't change anything?
Really?
Like if you put like Michael AM radio show @gmail.com,
it'll just email to the Michael AM radio show.
It emails the same thing, and you can use that to organize your email inbox, because you can tell some people to do like Erik Thorkildson @gmail.com, and then some people Erik.Thorkildson, and then you can search for Erik.Thorkildson. And then only email threads that you've given that version of the email to will pop up,
or automatically forward to a certain sub box or whatever.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So there's a little life hack for you. You always learn something when you listen to the Michael AM radio show. Oh.
Brought to you by Toe Beans. Do drink water.
There was a new sponsor. Hey, that's another thing. If you're a business and you have money to give to a couple of dudes who play music and talk, and you want us to talk about your thing for money, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
email.
Let's have a conversation.
The Michael AM radio show @gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know.
Toe Beans.